So, all right. So Elk said, "I'd like to hear more things to help healthily vent those stressors." Okay, and he says, "I'm sure it's different for everyone." Okay, well, yes. Okay, there are healthy ways to do that, and yes, exercise is a good way to do those things. Okay, but massages and the whatnot. But the thing is even if you go and get a massage, and you get all deep tissue massage, get it all worked out, and you go regularly and you work out and you keep your body healthy and in that state, if you have a frame of reference that continues to develop, produce those stressful situations and produce those stressful hormones, then your body's going to go right back to what it was, okay? And so, like I was saying, even if you go jog an hour after you had a stressful thing, you're not really burning off that stress production, okay? Because especially if you've been, let's say you go jog an hour after because you've been angry for an hour about this, and you're just like, man, I got to go and get this out. So you go and you go jog a couple miles. All right. You're then actively, and you're just going through the thing, so you're angry. You're using it then. But you have an hour's worth of stored up energy, okay, before that was already having to adapt because for an hour you've had to just sit there and bite your tongue and clench your steering wheel and do nothing to actually exert it. So it went to whatever adaptation your body deemed appropriate, okay? So you're not able to actually work that out, especially if you get into the point where your digestion and your immune system's off, you're off. So what we're going to talk about is being aware of these states of being so as to not generate so much stress hormones in the first place, so that you don't have to find ways to burn them off like that, okay? And that way, if you do go get a deep tissue massage and you do regularly work out, you're not rebuilding all of that stress, okay? Especially as actively as you were. Does that make sense a little bit? For me, competition is what helps it let the stuff come to the surface and at the end be done. I tried to get in magic, but I was awful. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to talk about. So we talked about earlier we had the X, the I, the V up here, okay? And that's my outline. That's how I keep this stuff straight, okay? And we talked about the I, we turned it on the side, made it into a little seesaw, and we talked about activity and nutrition and environment and inner state as the 4 balancing factors of stress, okay? And we walked through that. And then we talked about the emotional states and how those trigger fight or flight responses, okay? So now we're going to go back to the X, okay? So let's just draw us a nice big X. All comes back to X. All is X, okay? Everybody see that nice big X there? Isn't that pretty? All right, cool, cool. All right, what we're going to do here is go over what we call self-remembering, okay? This is knowing what you are, okay? So we're going to say, this is a picture of an integrated I'm actually going to need that space in a minute, but okay. Living being. Okay? All right, so a picture of an integrated living being is what we're going to draw up here. Let's see. It's probably going back to this is all right. Okay. All right. So, this is self-remembering. Now, we were talking about earlier, X. Okay, this is the biological form. This is what's going on, but it's also whatever this whole dynamic thing that is going on. It's X, like in algebra, to stand in for what we don't know. Okay, we see it's interacting, it's part of the equation, but we can't properly define it. It is the unexpressible, God, the universe, karma, whatever, like X. Okay, sex, all of it's X. DNA, RNA relationship, biological function of life, all of it, it's X. Okay, so we are going to show how there are distinct aspects of X. Okay, so first off, we have a little part right here that we call physical body. Okay? This is going to represent our physical body, okay? This is that, all right? It's what you're seeing right here, okay? You're hearing its effects, okay? Now, up here, I'm going to put this nice little wavy line because this is going to show the difference, okay? The reason why we got a nice wavy line and a different solid line here. Solid line, there's a different type of interaction between the mind and the body, right? Thought and body, okay? So this represents something that's more tangible, a difference, a barrier, okay? With the wave, we have the idea of fluidity, okay? So we have the mind, we have thought, we have the unknown, okay? So up here, we're going to put X again, okay? We don't know what it is. I'm going to put some little quotey marks around it, okay? We don't know what X is, okay? But it's there, okay? It's there in this whole thing, okay? And right here, we have you. Awareness function. You are here, okay? The thing that you call I, me, okay, it's awareness function. That is the appropriate function of our intellect, of the mind, okay? So we have the physical body, we have the awareness function, then we have X. And like we talked about earlier, I don't know how to walk, I don't know how to talk, I don't know how to beat my heart, I don't know how to breathe. X does these things, okay? The body does these things. I, the awareness function, determines what's true and valuable, what I'd like to do, how I feel about it, and that feeling communicates to X, okay? And like we were talking earlier, if we view something and we interpret it as threatening, as bad, as no good, and we go into fight or flight, we get that feeling of anger, fear, guilt, or insecurity, and that feeling is what translates past this nice little wavy barrier to X. Okay? You can think about it all you want. Okay? You can sit there and try to convince yourself that you're not angry, that you're not guilty, whatever, and X is not going to hear it. Okay? X is going to hear your feeling. Okay? And if you're still really worked up, you not believe in it, that you're not angry, that they're not to blame, you're not going to feel any different. And if you don't feel any different, X is not going to know what to send as a response. Okay? So, you tell, let's just say, okay, physical body, here's some impressions, okay? So from the outer world, we have impressions coming in from outside into the mind. You're hearing things, okay? You're translating stuff with language. You're understanding things. And this coming from here, okay? You're hearing somebody talk bad about you. You know, you're hearing tweets by somebody that you might not be too fond of or whatever, all right? That's coming into the awareness function, okay? But you also have some input coming here, okay, from the physical body. You got a stomach ache. You got a leg cramp, okay? You got a migraine. Whatever it is, you're getting tired. You're physically getting tired, okay? So you're having sensations coming into the awareness function from the physical body and from outside, okay? Now, technically we would say, all right, we're using our eyes to see, we're using our ears to hear. So yes, it's all really being filtered through the physical body, okay? But we'll make the distinction because it can be helpful, okay? So you're going to have these inputs. And then you, as the awareness function, have this frame of reference, and you're going to evaluate what is true based off of what you've gotten. You know, you see a car coming at you, you think, okay, car, body, not very strong, fast, that's going to be bad if that happens. I would like to stay alive. Okay, you don't have time to make these things, but we're slowing it down. Okay, you see the danger, you respond, this is dangerous, it's valuable for me to do something, and you get that fight or flight stuff initiated, and X goes, and throws your body, you know, you jump. You know, you would say, oh, I jumped out of the way just in time. Now, X threw your butt across the room, you know, or across the road because a car was about to hit you, okay? You know, you ever have those moments where you just like caught something, you know? You didn't even think about it. You just like saw it falling out of the corner of your eye and you snatched it. It's like, you didn't have time to think about that. You didn't do that. Your awareness happened to catch something, glass falling off the table, and that registers that's going to break on the thing, and it's true and valuable that that does not break, okay? It's valuable that does not break, and X went, we'll grab it. That's what we're talking about here. These impressions, you don't control this. You're an evaluator. You evaluate the input. You determine what's true and valuable, and that generates a feeling, and that feeling communicates to X, okay? So, I'm going to, on Twitch, switch over a slide. Oh, go one more. There we go. All right, here's that, okay? In the past, it's been called the picture of man, but, you know, times are changing, all this stuff, whatever. It's same thing gets gets across. The picture of a human, the picture of humanity, the picture of the integrated living being, the picture of man, okay? And so if you're seeing this on Twitch, you can see a little more broken down what's going on here. And so what does X do when it receives this feeling? It sends information to the physical body, okay? And this is faster than you don't know this, okay? This is happening in the background. That's why we don't see it. We know it's doing something, but we don't witness it in this way. Sends that response to the physical body, and the physical body sends out the action, okay? The appropriate action, okay? And like we said earlier, if you're telling X that you're in a threatening place because dude's mean mugging you over there and you need to be in fight or flight response even though you're not, you're just being angry or fearful or guilty or whatever you're feeling, you're telling X that it is appropriate for us to fight or flight. And so X goes down here and says, all right, here's all this stuff. But then you're also going, hey, mixed signals. We can't just run over there and slug dude. And we don't need to just go run screaming out here because our social status will be damaged. And so it goes, okay, well, we'll put the brakes on, but it's still thing. And you're in this internal conflict and it's zipping around in here. And so you're frozen. You're paralyzed, okay? Whereas normally, like we were talking about with the glass falling off the table thing, you know, you solve it, you evaluated it before you even realized it. If you were clear, you know, if you were in the middle of a conversation, you might not. But if you're just sitting there and you're just relaxed and you see that happen, you might just snatch that thing before you even knew you caught it, you know? And that's X sending that appropriate information and you having the appropriate response, okay? So if you're on Twitch, you can see another diagram of this. This is a lot clearer. It has some more things. Feel free to... I just threw it. Feel free to screenshot these things. If you want these graphics, private message me or say it in chat, and I will send you these graphics. And like I said earlier, I've got more information because these are not my ideas. I didn't come up with this. Okay, someone gave this to me, and I know that this has been talked about by at least 2 different gentlemen over the past century, and I have access to recordings of theirs, books of theirs, other writings of theirs, and can help you along the way there. Okay, I'm just sharing these because I've worked with these for about 5 years now, and have had some interesting results. And from experience, here you are. So let me pop over here to chat real quick. Hey, Renee. How's it going? Over on Facebook. Let's see. Like telling yourself not to think about elephants. Yeah, there you go. Or the game. Oh, man, that's the second time in like a couple days I've lost the game. Okay? Some dude posted some little post about it. It's screwed up, man. Got your number. Like, literally, I do. Okay. So, this is how the body is meant to function. This is how animals function. This is how we, when we're clear, function. Okay? We have input from the body and from our environment and from the physical body, which is also our environment, you know. And that comes into the awareness function. We evaluate it, decide what's true and valuable. That generates a feeling. The feeling communicates to X, and X says, okay, based off of this information, here's the appropriate information that you need. You know, here's all the hormones, here's all of this, that, and the other to make this happen. And the physical body, the motor function, does the thing. Okay? It does the thing. So, does anybody have any questions about self-remembering, which is, you know, the picture of the integrated living being here as described, and how this functions and how this deals with things? Let's see. Good. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is the X of the XIV. Okay. This is self-remembering. The I is the idea of like balancing that stress and things and stuff in the middle. And next we're going to go into the V, which is basically we're going to take this clear as mud picture and we're going to muddy it up a little more. And we're going to look a little closer at what our inner state is like as far as internal conflict. Okay? So, questions? Let it catch up a little bit. I can always talk about it without the thing. And I'm going to really try not to knock the board off again, but we'll all have a good laugh if it does. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Whether you have an essential job and you got to be out there in the midst of all this craziness, or if you are stuck at home, you know, I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone in your family is safe. Being smart in these strange times we got going on. And hopefully this, what we're sharing tonight, will give you some tools to be able to de-escalate yourself a little bit. Not just right now, but in your day-to-day life. Because like we said earlier, you know, many of us have a lot of these things going all the time. Things we're angry about, guilty about, fearful of, and insecure about, okay? We have this really ingrained in our society right now, and very fear-based and whatnot. And so hopefully these tools will aid you in your own work, because I can't do it for you. This is something you've got to test for yourself. You've got to experiment with these things and see, well, are my feelings dictated by my frame of reference, by my thoughts? And are my feelings sending these signals to, you know, go into fight or flight? And does that actually help my situation and things of that nature, okay? So before we go into the V, we're going to talk a little bit about your purpose for life, okay? The purpose for you being here, okay? Feel free to pop in chat. Tell me what you think your purpose is. Like, why do you think you're here? What is your purpose for living? What drives you? What gives you meaning and purpose, okay? Let's get some examples going here while I write this up here. Okay. So, I hate to break it to you, but most likely, okay, there we go. We got some comments. My purpose seems to be purposeless in an interesting way. Okay. Oh, and you also had said, I don't de-escalate, I burn out. Yeah, how's that working out for you? How's that burnout? Yeah, that's called fatigue. It's exhaustion. It's from being in a stressful situation so long that your body's just, you know, you can become what I forget the term, but it's basically where your adrenal receptors become exhausted. Like you've just been in stress so much that you can't even respond to it anymore. And you can become incredibly debilitated, both physically and mentally, by staying in those states and being burnout. Okay, so de-escalation is a way to kind of prevent that burnout. All right. All right. Renee said love. And then, let's see, we've got, okay, I don't know, I think I may be half Phoenix. Really? Well, I, for one, have appreciated the symbol of the Phoenix since I was a kid, in that it's always able to rise again. You know, it lives, it burns, and then it is reduced to its ashes and is reborn from them. And the idea for me has been every day I'm born new. I get to burn the way I do during that day, and then at the end of the day, I'm reduced back to those ashes, and the next day, I'm born again from those ashes. That's my Phoenix analogy there. So, I think the stream froze for me. Oh yeah, burn out. Well, Elk, let me know if you're still having issues. I'm showing good bit rate and stuff on my end, so I don't know what might be the problem. Let's see. Okay, come on now. There we go. All right. Okay, so we're back. Oh wait, nope. That messed up. Let me switch that and back to that. There we go. Okay. Cool. See. Oh yeah. Nah, I burn out, but I know I can always pull myself up. Because honestly, in the future, it will be fun to laugh about the worries of my youth. Yeah, but you got to consider something, okay? So I get that. I do. I have lots of fun and interesting stories of me being human, okay? In those ways. But the type of damage we're talking about you're doing to your body because you're having these unreleased, unexpressed stress hormones and whatnot, these stressors, okay? And you're doing it to the point where you're burning out. You're getting so exhausted, you're just out, down for the count, okay? You got to consider what that's doing to your body. I'm still trying to figure out my purpose, okay? As are most people, if they're honest with themselves. You got to understand what that's doing to your body, okay? Especially over years. Like, you may not have much old to remember your youth in if you destroy your body while you're young by staying in inappropriate states so much that it degrades and disintegrates your body. Okay? So do you understand what I'm picking up when I'm laying down here?